Welcome to Numbering the Days channel two-part series on the counting of the Omer. We believe the answer is yes, the Bride of Messiah is still counting the Omer, and in this video we are going to tell you exactly why. Counting is part of the love story written for the bride and the groom. If you have not watched part 1, we suggest you do so before watching this video to have a full understanding. In part 2, we are going to provide insights we have seen over 9 years of counting the Omer not commonly taught elsewhere. We will review the counting process within the complete Moedim cycles every year, explore a list of principles to be learning this season and teaching your children, and leave you with a set of thought-provoking questions to meditate upon and discuss with others. There is even a commentary included as a bonus. If you consider yourself to be part of the bridal party in Scripture, you owe it to yourself to watch. We hope you enjoy this video, so always please like, subscribe, and comment. The PDF we are using is available from the description box for downloading. Let's get started. Okay, so let's go to part 5. Let's review how we arrived here and the destination. I like to tell stories, and as any good storyteller knows, and as we all know from the movies, the introduction to the movie in the first part or a story, you have to have a setting. You have to describe the place and the characters, and you have to establish a plot. Well, that all happened in part 1. We know who the characters are, we know the context, we know language things, we know that we're counting the Omer. Now we're going to talk about the journey and the actions that are going to take place in the story and the conclusion. So here we go. The purpose of this section is to make you understand both the Aleph, the beginning, and the Tav, the ending of the journey that you are on, because the journey that you're on is all within the feasts. It's mapped out from beginning to end. So if you follow our weekly episodes that we do on the calendar, you will be aware of the events leading up to this. You will see this is just one of the building blocks of Father's annual feast cycles and appointed times that build upon one another and give us opportunities to come together and grow as His planting and His harvest. We will be traveling the path below through time on this channel. We believe this to be a unique approach to studying scriptures, and it's not in any way to discredit Torah cycles, the reading of entire books, and Bible studies, or anything. This is just a new way to study that I started doing on my path, and it's to add to what you're doing. I created this for myself, and it's become a part of our fellowship, and now it's for you. We track time on our calendar boards, and here's some links. If you haven't checked them out yet on our channel, please do. Okay, this is a summary list below of the feasts, and I'm using the traditional terms for these events just for recognition on this video. The names were given to some of these events long before Moses by Abraham and his sons prior to the bondage of their descendants in Egypt. That's more we'll go into when we get to studying Jubilees. Okay, month 1. Day 1 is New Year's, and it's the affirmation of our relationship. People in the stories, in the scriptures, are calling out to Yahuwah as our sovereign. There's a direct appeal to Yahuwah for salvation and deliverance of seed, which is all grain. Think seed, think your seed. Crying out to Yahuwah for release from slavery and oppression. The children in the story of the Exodus in Egypt were certainly at the beginning of month 1 doing just that. Okay, day 14 is Pesach or Passover. It's the protection of the firstborn of Yasharel by the Lamb of Elohim. That's a part of the Exodus story. Days 15 through 21. Though there's more to Pesach than I'm putting here, but that's when Jubilees, and when we study it, you're going to see that added in. Okay, days 15 to 21, unleavened bread. We have deliverance from bondage and oppression on earth. We have leaving spiritual darkness to be born anew. We have the kinsman redeemer setting you free. We have time to feast on truth, free of leaven. We have both the birth of the nation of Yasharel and your own personal celebration in your own lifetime of deliverance and salvation. And we have the tares are growing with the wheat. Okay, day 26 on month 1, we have the first fruits of barley. We have offerings. We have the offerings begin once Joshua takes people into the promised land. We have an honoring of Yahuwah with the first fruits of his land. We have barley that can grow in harsh circumstances and in droughts. That's why barley is like a sustenance food of the poor, because it can grow well in any condition. And Yahuwah wants his people to experience this so that they have compassion for others that can go through the same. You don't really feel the same way you can for homeless people until you've been there yourself. You really don't know what it's like to not have enough to eat until you experience it yourself. So Father is putting his people through, the Exodus was not a picnic. Remember, they cried out for water, they cried out for food, they had to be given manna. And I suggest you look at our research tips number 2, rightly dividing the word, coming out this week, to understand this deeper. Okay, there's a sanctification of the firstborn that's a part of the first fruits understanding, and they needed extra protection to help protect them from the barley conditions, because the firstborn is Hasatan's main attack in a family. So the barley conditions are coming for the firstborn, and there's a sanctification. Then we'll go into that in our firstborn video. Okay, so on day 26 is the counting of the Omer begins here. And in month 2, because we're right here right now as of the moment in time that I'm doing this video. And we're going into month 2. We're all 30 days in month 2. We're counting the Omer. And this is the first counting in Scripture of 7 Sabbaths, the 40-day 9 count. Okay, let's talk about where we're headed. We're headed into month 3, where we have the Feast of Weeks, Shabuah. And another counting, another new 7 Sabbaths, 49-day counts. This is in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And you go to month 5. We have on day 3 the Feast of New Wine. That's what you're counting to. From the Feast of Weeks, Shabuah, you count another 49 days to get to the Feast of New Wine. And then yet another counting starts. There's 3 countings of 7s. You get in month 6 to the Feast of New Oil and the wood offering. Month 7 is very, very busy. Day 1 is trumpets. Days 1 through 10 are the day of awe. Days starting in the nighttime of day 9 into the day of 10 is atonement. Days 7 through 21 is Sukkot or tabernacles, representing the millennial kingdom. And day 22 is the great 8th day, or the addition day, representing New Jerusalem, the new heavens and new earth. That's my understanding. If you do appreciate math, or even if you don't appreciate math, part of the counting that's going on is Father wants us to learn how to count. And there's 7 festivals and 3 times that we count, and I discuss this in a little short math video that I'm going to do on counting the Omer and the math. And I hope you watch that when I put it out. Okay, my personal opinion, developed over 9 years, is that each time I begin afresh the cycle, it's like a spiral where we or I have gone through the same time periods over and over, but hopefully from an elevated, ever-expanding understanding of truth and insight. I've thought about how we are to be his trees of righteousness, and trees grow by rings in a circular pattern, and we grow through traveling the feasts, through the circular cycle. We start our spiritual journey in life and the crying out for deliverance and protection in month 1, day 1. Yahuwah, our loving Father, then summons us and calls us to his Kodesh Mikra, his holy convocations, his official appointed times to join his congregation, the Moed, and learn, grow, and receive sunshine, light, rain, and his word in purity. All these things are agricultural metaphors. The counsel of our loving Elohim to raise us up as children of light. Who are these mentioned at the end of his book? Revelation 22:14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. So the goal of the Moedim is that you fit here, that you get to go eat from the tree of life. That's the whole purpose of this. This is the plan in Scripture from start to finish, and that is rehearsed each year if you walk the ancient path. The path is ignored, disdained, forgotten, misunderstood, and even twisted by some. I wanted to share this plan from the start to the finish so you can understand how the counting fits into these cycles of righteousness that we travel each year. If you're not familiar with the Yehud meanings in the original language of the first fruits, watch the first fruits of barley and the research tips number 1, which go into details and defining the words. Okay, because I'm going to be using Hebrew. The Hebrew people spoke Yehud. I'm going to use some of those phrases, and I want you to know what they mean. Now to the next part. Okay, section 6. So, beloved children of Yahuwah, what are we supposed to be learning now? What is the counting of the Omer actually about? Besides counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 49. It's about being newly born, about learning dependence. A newborn has dependence upon a mother and a father, and all of Yahuwah's people have to learn dependence. We have to learn dependence upon him. We have to learn discipline. Even if it's hard, of simple things, obeying your parents. How many stories do we have in Scripture for that? We have to learn to experience the mercy and compassion from Yahuwah in the most desperate of circumstances, so we can build trust and esteem Elohim, so that we can count on Yahuwah to be there even if you can't see Yahuwah. These things you could preach to somebody all you wanted to and read stories, but until it happens to you and you have to live it out, it doesn't become real. So we also have to learn to become grateful, even for the small things. I'm sure that those people when they had the bitter waters of Marah were extremely grateful for a drink of water that was sweet. That's a small thing in life, to be thankful for the water that we have. But, the more you walk this path, the more you understand small things matter. Okay, number 5. This time, the counting is about experiencing the miraculous nature, and it's both personal and national. We get rescued from those that wish to kill us. All of their enemies were drowned in the Red Sea. There was a miraculous provision of manna, of food. There's changing of the bitter waters to sweet, and there's clothing that doesn't wear out. So the people during the Exodus, at this time of counting the Omer, were learning about the miraculous nature of Elohim and his ability to provide, even when they had no idea how it was going to happen. Okay, 6. We learned that our Elohim has rules. If you don't obey, your manna turns into worms or wormwood. So we learn from our parents that there's rules of the house, and Elohim is teaching his people while we're here that there's rules. We saw the scripture in part 1 where you need to learn how to be honest in our weights and our measures. We need to understand that we're getting tested. Parents have to teach their children things, and Johnny doesn't know what he knows until Johnny reacts better. And it may be the 5th and 6th time that he's tested, but finally Johnny gets it. Okay, getting our hearts circumcised from the cold, harsh reality of slavery into caring, loving, nurturing people who can be in relationships with others on the same path. That's a part of counting the Omer. Number 10, freedom from constant oppression. Now, we know that doesn't mean we're not going to go through trials and tribulations at some point, but to be a slave in Egypt meant you were constantly being oppressed. There was never a break. They didn't have a Sabbath. Okay, point number 11, experiencing homelessness, being without routines, without homes, on an unknown journey, and realizing it is all going to be okay. That's a part of this journey of counting the Omer. Learning, number 12, that the conditions we go through happens to the princes, the leaders, the Levites, to Moses, to strangers, to everyone on the journey is in the same boat, so to speak. Okay, 13. Letting go of the Egypt mentality, coming out of Babylon. Egypt was even called the second Babylon in the book, The Two Babylons by Alexander Hislop. It's a very good book. Okay, 14. Learning how to rest with Elohim and set the Sabbath apart as Kodesh or holy. You know, when I first started on my Sabbath journey, I would still keep booking appointments on Saturdays, and it's a learning process that you have to go through. You're not used to it. Your mind does not say, oh, it's the Sabbath. I can't do that. Okay, point 15. Learning to count in sevens, as this is the basis for the calendar and the Moedim, which is, go watch the math video. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, for a human being developing as a child, to a person delivered spiritually by Yahusha, our kinsman redeemer, to a nation being born in the wilderness, all things take time. Nothing in the above list happens overnight. So what we are doing on Counting the Omer, what are we doing but learning how to track time, count time, and experience coming into relationship with our Creator, Yahuwah Elohim, through time. Okay, Moses wrote Psalm 90, and our channel name comes from verse 12. Many people want this verse on their calendar boards, and when I first started following the calendar, it was really like stepping into a new rhythm of life. While I still have to interact with the world on other calendars, our family switched in so many ways to keeping track of anniversaries and all kinds of things on the creation calendar. It's been quite a fun thing to do. Psalm 90 verse 12, so teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Okay, we're going to talk about wisdom next. Okay, section 7, part 2, wisdom. Teaching, trust, testing, threshing, and time. It's all T's. Yahuwah Elohim uses parables, metaphors, and storytelling all through Scripture. Do we not love to sit by a campfire and hear a good storyteller weave a tale as we breathe in the night air with friends and loved ones? Do we not all long for the Feast of Tabernacles when all the harvest is in and the hard work is over with? In that light, I hope you have appreciated my storytelling and metaphors in the videos we produce, especially used in the video on first fruits of barley. So Yahuwah is birthing a nation in the Exodus and birthing us in our lifetimes through history on an individual basis. The same process applies to us all. Yahuwah set his official appointed times using the metaphor and real-world experiences of his people and their agricultural dependence upon seed, crops, harvest, rains, etc. Remember, we are his harvest he comes for. Well, we may all be concerned, and rightfully so, with barley, wheat, livestock, beans, corn, lettuce, spices, all over the earth, the various foods we depend upon to survive. Yahuwah has history, his story, written for us for our edification and training in righteousness. When Saul Paul penned the words in 2 Timothy 3:16, all scripture is given by inspiration of Elohim and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. When he wrote this, the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament, was not written yet. And while we may debate now exactly what was considered at that moment in time to be scripture, everyone does hold in some esteem the stories surrounding the Moedim appointed times. On our channel, we include the Book of Jubilees, Gad the Seer, and other writings on the calendar we keep and share in our weekly episodes. The point being, no matter what religion you are, what canon you believe in, the plan from our Creator Elohim Yahuwah still applies. He said there was one Torah, Exodus 12:49. One law, or Torah, set of instructions shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth with you. The key point being the sojourneth among you part. The answering the summons of the Mikra Kodesh, the holy convocation of the Moedim. Isaiah 56, verse 3. Neither let the son of the stranger that hath joined himself to Yahuwah speak, saying, Yahuwah hath utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, Behold, I am a dry tree. And I urge you to watch week 6, because my husband has going to tell a story did a short video as a part of week 6 about this right here, about sojourning among the people and who's included. The joining himself to Yahuwah, becoming part of his people, doing his instructions, walking in his way, his truth, and his light, receiving in addition instructions for the journey in this world, also the bread of heaven that Yahushua HaMashiach gives us. It's both, folks. We need to physically walk things out, and we need the spiritual aspect. It's a both and. And I was so sad when I realized how many people have thrown out the baby, so to speak, with the bathwater by ignoring the feast days. Okay. In this section, there are questions that I hope you meditate upon and discuss in fellowship. And I just want you to logically think. Everyone must be taught by Elohim. Are you teachable or stubborn, and have eyes that don't see and ears that don't want to hear? There's some scriptures here for you to meditate on. Will you come out of Egypt or stay there? Will you come out of Babylon as we were instructed to, trusting that he will provide for you along the way? Are you counting the Omer yet? There's more scriptures for you to meditate on. Will you hear out the rest of the viewpoint we have to share in the 52-week cycle of time? Or tune us out because we might not sound just like everybody else? Will you commit energy and a little time into learning a few new Hebrew Yehudiath words to deepen your understanding and gain more wisdom? If you have children, are you protecting them? Are you teaching them his ways? Are your children experiencing the Moadim Feast with other adults that speak to them in the same manner with the same kindness and concern that you do? Do you realize that it takes time and is a process to learn to trust our Elohim, and that it's okay to stumble, to doubt, so long as you learn and get back on the path and keep walking? Have you ever experienced any threshing in your life? Grain is beaten, sifted, winnowed to get to the Omer you can present as an offering. Do you think that because Yahushua died for you and suffered for you, that means there will be no correction and no chastisement from your Yahuwah Elohim done in love in this physical time frame that we're in? This was taught in both the Tanakh and Old Testament and the Brit Hadashah. Mercy, grace, was given in both places. Ecclesiastes 7:5. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. Proverbs 15. The ear that hears the rebuke of life will abide among the wise. Hebrews 12. For whom Yahuwah loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son or daughter whom he receiveth. If ye endure the chastening, Elohim dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then ye are bastards and not sons. The goal is a people, a set-apart segula, a peculiar treasure that is Kodesh, with his praise on their lips, entering into the New Jerusalem, coming home. Are you becoming Kodesh? The Torah instruction is to become this. Things did not change. Leviticus 21:8. Thou shalt sanctify him, therefore, for he offereth the bread of thy Elohim. He shall be holy unto thee, for I, Yahuwah, which sanctifieth you, am holy. Peter wrote, because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy. Exodus 19:6. And ye shall be unto me as a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, a Kodesh nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Yasharel. And Peter wrote, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar segula people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Things haven't changed. It's the same. Exodus 19:10. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, Go unto the people, and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. First Thessalonians. For Elohim hath not called us unto uncleanness, but unto holiness. Revelation. Let us be glad and rejoice, and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready. Are you ready? It's time to get ready. We hope this presentation will bless your journey and encourage you to keep the Moedim and follow our channel for increased understanding of their meanings. Yah Elohim Baruch and bless you, and the commentary and bonus will be included in the PDF file at the end of the document. So I hope you download it and see that. Yah bless.